What a BG, you crazy bastards. This is Chris back for another version of pretending to do ASMR to haircuts. What do you reckon? I don't even know where we're starting with this haircut, or what we're calling it, but it's going to be a short undercut and pretty funky. So, basically normal type of haircut, square sections, round, drop it down at the back. Taking that graduation line, and this will basically be our undercut section. And clip that all off, clip over comb, taking the highest section as our guideline, and we're just going to work everything shorter from there. Take your time with this and just work down the hair using that first section as our guideline. As you can see, we're just picking up, changing the angles, and that just gives us the ability just to watch the haircut form. Just take your time with this. You know, I've just angled the comb a wee bit closer to the nape of the neck, which gives us the ability to go in shorter, neater and tidier. And as you can see, then we're starting to see that hairline and all that shape just come out. We're just going to neat and tidy that up, cross checking, going one way, and then once again working the opposite way, and then yep, just covering all the bases. Banging. Now just pulling the hairline out of the way, and we're just gently tapering that out. Just once again letting the natural flow of the hair dictate what way it wants to go. We could do with charging them clippers onto the sides, the same sort of method. The top section is taken as the guideline, and we're just going to angle the comb out gently here to maintain a bit of length in around that wee sideburn area. Just taking close attention to get behind the ears and just taper that down and get rid of any excess hair. Tidy up around the ears, neat and tidy, but once again this will all be done properly when it's dry. We're just looking to put the basic shape into the haircut at the moment. Continue the same on the opposite side. Taking it in quite short, neat and tidy to the scalp. Onto the disconnected section. As you can see, just starting with a guideline. That's the length of the hair, the shape that we're going to try and create. And we're just going to start with a vertical section. I'm going to use a double-edged texturizing razor. There's a guard on this so you don't cut the client or yourself. And as you can see, we're just cutting the same section patterns as above would be done, but we're using that texturizing razor. The nice thing with the guard on the teeth on that is that it doesn't cut every single piece of hair first stroke through. You kind of have to go at it a couple of times, and because of that it gives you this nice broken up, shattered end feel to it. As you can see, towards the sides we're putting a nice bit of over graduation in, over direction, and that just allows that front to dip down longer. Take your time with this. A brand new blade will cut like butter, so for this sort of stuff I would recommend just using a blade that's just been used maybe once or twice before, so it's just that wee bit softer. You have to go over it a couple of times just to get that perfect haircut, or it will just, you end up taking chunks out. Very, very fine sections. That gives the blade the ability to work through the hair and soften all them ends out. If you took too big of a section, you're going to be cutting there for hours, and what you end up going to do is you're not going to get the textured ends, you're just going to get big clumpy chunky bits. On to the next section. It's just going to be a continuation of what we've been doing before, but we're going to go deeper into the hair. As you can see, I'm using the side of the razor. We're getting the full length of that blade, and we're just really taking an excess bit of weight out. Not overly too concerned about the length of the section, it's more about the weight and texture. And as you can see, we're really looking to shatter them ends. You're only looking to cut as you're pulling towards yourself. You're not letting the hair or the razor slide back up the hair again. You're looking to keep the cuticle in good condition. Just checking, cross-checking, checking for balance. And then now, pretty much the same sections. Pretty much following the same section pattern as before, or the underneath section. And we're just going to work down the hair, taking all that bulk and all that weight out. As I say, I'm not overly too worried about the length. We're going to cross check and do all that when it's dry. Shorter section around the face, just to create a wee bit more of a face framing, something very similar to like curtain bangs without being too obvious. Pretty much repeat the same process on the opposite side. Once again, double checking the balance and the weight and the texture. Just visually by using your hands, shake the hair, see how it feels. Working towards the front, this is a really simple, easy method of getting some class texture. Doing something a bit different, it really sits, in a completely different world of its own in comparison to doing this type of work with scissors. Now there is limitations to it. You wouldn't want to do it in damaged or dry hair, and you definitely wouldn't want to put it anywhere near bleached hair. Bleached hair and a razor is just asking for disaster. That's our front section, just over direct that forward. We're just going to put a couple of shorter bits through just to create a bit of shape. Once again, checking the balance. Up top section seemed a bit heavy, so just take a bit more off that. Now I just cross check everything, check the balance, a bit of texture spray, it's like sea salt spray, good blow dry, iron it through, and then we're fucking ready to cut this bad boy again. Just checking the balance, the weight, the shape, looking for any wee minor fuck ups or any wee longer bits. And just go through and just take your time, just point cut into them ends, just make sure that everything's short enough. As I say, when we're going through this with the razor, we weren't really looking, to dictate the length. It was more the shape and the build, the weight to it. So this is the area where we're actually going in now and having a look at that length. If there's anything that sticks out, that might become a problem, or anything that's too thin, just tidy that up. Just letting that comb very freehand, no tension. And just checking the shape. I normally get quite a lot of weight built up in here in this area, so I've just clipped that out. And we're going in underneath and just take that away. Do the same on the opposite side. This type of haircut is mostly visible, or visual. If you see a bit that looks out of place or it feels a bit heavier, then you want to go in and just soften it out. Checking for balance. The mirror is the most important thing when it comes to doing this haircut. It's the most important tool. Every time you see me shaking and moving that hair, I'm looking in the mirror, seeing how it looks. Fringe, very light triangle section, brought forward, point cut into it, bit of forward graduation, and it just creates almost like just a very soft wee curtain bang. The client doesn't really like too much the shorter hair around her face. And this is me now. I'm just going to blend them shorter bits into the rest of the haircut, almost like over direction. And this is my favorite bit. This is the personalization at the end of the haircut. Just going around all them edges, anything that sits out of place, or any random stragglers, any fuck ups. That's the area. Now's the time that you want to go through and tidy that all up. These are the wee bits that really make that haircut pop. As you can see, I don't really tend to force the hair to do what it doesn't want to do, because that's not going to work out for your clients. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer in you just, you know, push the hair one way, trim it a wee bit, see what way it sits, and you cut it naturally according to the lie of the hair. You know, there's no point you forcing it in to sit in that particular way, cut it, then you have to dry it to get it to sit. And unless that client dries it in the same way, it's never going to look as good as what you did it. Nice bit of pomade. And just bringing it through, work it into the hair. And once again, I'm just looking in that mirror, I'm just checking what way it sits, I'm judging her reaction. You know, I want to see if she feels good with it. Spin that around, still working that very little amount of product into the hair. I'm feeling for any heavy bits, any clumpy bits or anything that isn't going to work, or something that's going to be a problem in a couple of weeks. This is also when I like kind of tucking things behind the ears and seeing if there's a bit of versatility. And then I always finish with getting the client to have a wee feel through it. Hit it with a wee bit of cold air, freshener up by. And then this is just a different camera angle of the bits that we've just watched. And as you can see, nice, neat and tidy in around the back and sides. Loads of hair still. You could still keep cutting her hair forever with a razor. Just never gets any thinner. But you get that really nice broken up texture, and I love it. It's one of my favourite type of haircuts. Well, I hope you liked the video, and I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, give us a follow. If there's anything you'd like to see or any improvements you think I can make, let me know in the comments. Peace!